Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking in on me. This video I'm going to do is about socializing healthy relationships and recognizing toxic relationships. You know, Kevin Samuels is a pretty big icon. You know, he's got quite a big following and he has all these women on and talks about relationships and, you know, tries to help women, I guess, recognize their shortcomings that prevent them from getting what they want. And hopefully also correcting, you know, a sense of, or putting them on a better path than what they thought they wanted. You know, just helping women, I guess, get what they want is really what his kind of idea is. You could argue it's more to get women to do what men say. At least that's kind of some of the take that I get. But Kevin Samuels is going to ask this lady about some of the questions. Kevin Samuels is going to ask this lady some questions. I'll give you my takes before hers, and, you know, we'll just go from there, okay? I find this stuff to be pretty important, you know, overall, especially for, like, the younger generation. You know, you definitely don't want, at a younger age, to develop a perspective that will hurt you in the long run, especially when it comes to dealing with people and following along with, you know, toxic behavior, not following into Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is where you become a victim of someone's abuse, but you think that that particular abuse is love and it's healthy for you in the long run, when it's completely not. We find more, I guess, emotional abuse than we find physical abuse, but you know, and the emotional abuse can really, really affect you long term and change your personality. So we're going to listen to what Kevin Samuels has to say, and I'll give you my takes before this lady has anything to say on the matter. And we'll listen to what she has to say, comment on her too. So let's get on with the video.
Modern women more cut out to be side chicks or wives?
Can you define the modern woman?
Everything that's not like your grandma or your great-grandma.
My take is, I'd say leaning more towards being in an uncommitted relationship. Now, I don't think boyfriend and girlfriend is really a committed relationship, honestly. Something that isn't long-term. It is, I think it's vaguely a verbal commitment that, you know, that doesn't carry very much weight. You know, like getting married is completely different. You have money involved, children custody, you know, all that. All that is like 1,000 times heavier than just, hey, I see you, I sleep with you, you know, like, it's pretty casual. I really suggest, you know, people get to know people a little bit more, even before, you know, sleeping with one another. Like, there's no reason to give yourself away so soon to someone who is a complete dirtbag, you know, who they could say is like, hey, I got to be with this beautiful woman, you know, and I got to treat her like crap, but hey, but at least I still got it, you know. Like, to me, that's just, you know, like, sex is like super important, you know, to your own mental image, to your own mental health, and it should always be cherished by someone who, or you should always give it to somebody who will cherish it and respect it, you know. And, you know, giving it away once to a dirtbag is the worst, or even to a woman who is, you know, just trying to objectify you as well. You know, women can absolutely objectify men. So that's my take. Modern women, I think they're not pushing for marriage right now. They care more about, you know, having the best time, self gratification, immediate self gratification, you know, not really looking for the long term. If I have it now, I'm going to take it now. I'm not going to invest it and let it grow and flourish and nourish, you know. That's my perspective.
You know, I think we can be wifey material depending on who, you know, we're involved with. You can't expect us to be wifey material for someone that doesn't deserve it.
That doesn't make any sense to me, her response. Is she talking from a previous experience? That's what it kind of sounds like to me.
Automatically wrong.
Wrong?
Okay. Well,
it's a condition.
I don't know why he says that. What does he say it's wrong? Let's listen.
Femininity.
Well,
automatically wrong.
okay.
It's conditional femininity.
I don't
Conditional.
think so.
Hold on. Oh, no, no, no. Condition. See, a woman who's feminine is feminine, regardless if the man around her is trying to marry her or he's just the guy who's delivering her groceries.
Hmm.
I don't know where you ladies get off talking about. Well, I can act right for the right man. You need
I don't
conditional.
think.
Automatically wrong.
Okay.
Condi-
Well,
it's conditional femininity.
I don't
Conditional.
think so.
Hold on. Oh, no, no, no. Condition. See, a woman who's feminine is feminine, regardless if the man around her is trying to marry her or he's just the guy who's delivering her groceries.
Hmm.
I don't know where you ladies get off talking about. Well, I can act right for the right man. You need to act right for the men who built the world that you live in, because we're all the right men.
No, honestly, I don't understand why Kevin Samuels says these things. Is he saying that every man is, worth being married to? And I would argue, like if everyone changes the dark sides of their life, then yeah, but realistically, that's not gonna happen. Like, there's not everybody is marriage material. Like, there's no reason to think anything outside that delusion.
You
well,
just need to act better for the one that's taking care of you.
or just not act for them at all. You get what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Don't act for them at all. See, I think she is responding under the guise of all the men that she has dated haven't treated her right. You know, and from what I'm getting from her vibe and the way she presents herself is that she has very high value men. Like I don't think that she is a charity case who will date somebody well below the way that she presents herself. Really, that's everybody. Everybody, dates and lets people show interest in them who are equal to, if not greater than them. Okay, that's just the way society is, 100%. Sounds like she's just been, mistreated. Now granted, was it antagonized mistreatment? Did she kind of, lead this kind of, toxic relationship, or did the man or girl that she was dating, did they bring in the toxicity? Realistically, it kind of, in a more realistic ways, they probably both were kind of toxic. I really don't think that people know how to truly recognize that they're going to lose what they have, and I don't feel like people really understand how to keep what they have.
Mm-mm.
Or just not ask for them at all.
Not for act for them at all. You don't act for people who mistreat you. That's the thing to remember as well. You don't give people the time of day who don't give you the respect every human being deserves. Our human rights cannot be violated. That is the number one rule of relationships.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
So, I think what I'm trying to say is that, you can't give your best to someone that doesn't deserve it. So you expect me to give my all and give my best to
I
someone?
expect you to appreciate the men that built the world around you, that allow you to be able to live in a first world country. The entitlement you guys have.
Well,
Like,
what about
hold
the
on, hold
women?
on,
What
hold on,
about
hold
the
on,
women
hold
that
on.
built that, though?
Like,
So, I think what I'm trying to say is that, you can't give your best to someone that doesn't deserve it. So you expect me to give my all and give my best to
I
someone?
expect you to appreciate the men that built the world around you, that allow you to be able to live in a first world country.
Under the first impression, maybe even the second impression, the third impression, at the beginning of the relationship, you give your all. And then you decide, hey, after 3 to 4 months, I've been with this person, things aren't really working out. That's giving somebody the opportunity, the chance. You're pretty enough for me, you're handsome, whatever, it doesn't make a difference after 3 or 4 months. If they're not treating you right, you're not going to stay unless you have mental illness of some kind. You know, you don't recognize when someone's being abusive, or you know, you think it's you. You know, like it's just sometimes that can be really, really, really hard to recognize because you really care about that person, and you know, you want to overlook all of their shortcomings. You know, but the point is that there is a threshold. We all have thresholds. Once they break that threshold, you know, it's kind of like a red flag. Once you get too many red flags, you're ready to bounce. You're ready to go, you know. Or you may say, okay, well, this person's definitely not marriage material, but maybe I can stay in this relationship a little bit longer for support. It's pretty maniacal, malevolent. It's, you know, it's very snake-like. You know, like people do that all the time.
The entitlement you guys have.
Well,
Like,
what about
hold
the
on,
women?
hold on,
What
hold
about
on,
the
hold on,
women
hold
that
on.
built
You
that
asked-
though? You know what I'm saying? Like
Women
the women.
built-
I'm trying to help you. You're about,
No, I know.
The women haven't built shit. Name me 5 great female inventors. I'll give you one.
Okay.
Madame Curie. Go.
What I'm trying to say
Women
is
don't
that
build nothing.
women built. They delivered us. They built life.
That's not as hard as people think. Who were the ladies who got us into space with the Apollo mission? They did a movie on it. What woman got us to space? It's called Hidden Figures. And Mary Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and Dorothy Vaughan. They were the ones who made going to the moon possible, or just getting into space possible. It was pivotal. Engineering. Women are brilliant.
What
A
about
dog can shit out mutts. Giving birth does not make
a
you special.
female
Samuel is so ignorant.
dog though?
It doesn't
A
make you
female
special.
dog.
A bitch.
No, I'm
It
just.
doesn't make. See, that's the thing. The ability to give birth doesn't make you special. It just means your womb works.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not easy. I don't even think I can.
Why
do
the
it
fuck do y'all? Why do women often talk about it's not easy?
That's the
This
biggest.
this is the whole thing. This is this modern feminist bullshit. Y'all expect men to go out and conquer the world, and then you want to. Well, I'll decide to be nice to this man. I'll decide.
No, I
this,
never
that,
said
that.
be nice or not. I
Look,
mean,
you
obviously
get-
you should be nice to all people.
No,
but
you
what I'm
said
saying-
no. You said I should give my best to all men. Then guess what? That's cool. So if you getting run up, done up out on a bus on the subway somewhere, then all the men should just say nothing because they're not yours, right?
I didn't say no. Don't say nothing. You can be.
No,
coerced.
no,
But
you
what I'm
said
saying-
no. You
I understand
said,
Kevin Samuels.
I should
Sometimes it's
give
hard to
my best
understand him.
all men. Then guess what? That's cool.
Okay, let's go
So
back
the ability to give birth.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not easy. I don't even think I can.
Why
do
the
it
fuck do y'all? Why do women often talk about it's not easy?
That's the
This
biggest.
this is the whole thing. This is this modern feminist bullshit. Y'all expect men to go out and conquer the world, and then you want to. Well, I'll decide to be nice to this man. I'll decide.
No, I
this,
never
that,
said
that.
be nice or not. I
Look,
mean,
you
obviously
get-
you should be nice to all people.
No,
but
you
what I'm
said
saying-
no. You said I should give my best to all men. Then guess what? That's cool. So if you getting run up, done up out on a bus on the subway somewhere, then all the men should just say nothing because they're not yours, right?
I didn't say no. Don't say nothing. You can be
No,
cordial
no, no,
and
no,
say hello.
no,
and
no.
shit.
That's cool.
I don't understand what
if
he's
you
trying to say
if
here.
you getting run up, done up out on a bus on the subway somewhere, then all the men should just say nothing because they're not yours, right? Why need to give birth doesn't make you special. It just means your womb works.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not easy. I don't even think I can.
Why
do
the
it
fuck do y'all? Why do women?
Well, it's because men can't do it. Physically incapable of experiencing the discomfort and the pain associated to giving birth. So it's hard to empathize.
Often talk about it's not easy.
That's the
This
biggest.
this is the whole thing. This is this modern feminist bullshit. Y'all expect men to go out and conquer the world, and then you want to, well, I'll decide to be nice to this man, I'll
No,
decide
I
this
never
and
said
that.
be nice or not. I mean,
Look, you
obviously
get,
you should be nice to all people,
no,
but
you
what I'm
said,
saying,
no, you said I should give my best to all men. Then guess what? That's cool. So if you getting run up, done up out on a bus, on the subway somewhere, then all the men should just say nothing because they're not yours, right?
I didn't say no, don't say nothing. You can be
No, no,
cordial
no,
and
no,
say hello
no,
and
no,
treat
no,
people
no, no.
like human beings.
But treating people like human beings. Do you say that most women today treat men with respect, like human beings?
I
Yes, most women.
in our modern society,
You mean the world? Yeah. What else world are you gonna talk
I
about?
think that they personally lack respect for women.
And what?
Yes. I think the more wealthier men, the majority of the wealthy men who make over 100,000 treat women poorly. That's just the way it is. Like I said, they want what they want when they want it. I doubt extremely that more than, or, you know, men who are careless, or excuse me, men who sacrifice, men who are willing to serve, men who are willing to sacrifice and give their time, I think that they are a minority amongst the very, very wealthy side of men.
And why should you be respected?
Why we should be respected? I think that
Yes.
we put up with more than we should.
Well, you should be respected because you're a person. 100%, just as a person, okay? At the beginning of a relationship, you treat them as people, okay? But if someone's constantly badgering you later on in life and they're not satisfied with what you do, and what you do isn't necessarily, you know, harmful or bad, it's just, you know, the person you're with has a preference or, you know, a opinion about the matter, and they continue to badger you, and, you know, they do all these things that make you uncomfortable, then yeah, I don't think that that person really should be respected in the way that, you know, you would treat a prospective spouse or a prospective girlfriend or a prospective boyfriend or husband. You know, like, when you start misbehaving, that's when others start to misbehave too. And it's just the natural order of things. And I feel like there's a lot of dysfunction, even higher amounts of it, at the extremes within that 1%.
No. Why should women
And
be?
we should be
Hold
valued.
on, hold on.
We're not as
Hold on,
valued.
stop. Oh. Why should
Oh my
you
god,
be
I feel like all
respected?
these people about to come for me right now.
No, don't worry about all these people. You're talking to me. Why should you be respected and why should you be valued?
Me personally, or are you asking me to speak on behalf of women?
Well, you said you don't think men respect women and women should be
No,
respected and valued.
because I mean, if you look at the dating culture, first of all, the way that the dating culture is
This is
now,
too easy.
men are less likely
I think Sam was kind of delusional here, but okay.
to commit to a woman. They
And
believe
why do you think
in
that is? Why do
being
you
with-
think that? Why do you think that is?
Maybe social media plays a factor, and you
No.
know, people having
Chivalry is dead because women killed it.
How?
Like it or not, here's the thing. You need to actually
There are two arguments to that. Who killed chivalry? Misbehaving men or misbehaving women? I'd say it's probably both in this matter. Women who have more freedom now, in the idea that they don't have to put up with nearly as much BS. And I feel like men are more accountable now. We can actually, you know, have video evidence. We have recording devices. We have all kinds of things, you know, that can corroborate the mistreatment that men put upon women. I think that because of that, there are more women than ever. There are more men in history that are being more accountable and are being forced to change their ways or leave because women have that ability now. You know, that is just the way it is. You know, I do feel like now, though, society is more about immediate gratification, like I need it. I need you to hit me with it. I need to feel something that is extremely strong and, just something that is different than where I am in life. I feel like social media has a lot to do with that, but yes, I feel like women are more advantageous and more free than they've ever been, and men, I think the same way. I think men just did it a little bit earlier, like back in the 70s and the 60s. Not so much the 60s, but 70s to, where we are now. There's been a lot more freedom of, of sexual desire and having multiple partners. I feel like that is just where we are at, and I think that, women now are doing exactly the same thing. There's just more of them at that point. It is more desirable to have more sex with different people. I personally, however, think it's, a diminishing return to have so many partners. There's all kinds of mental downfalls. It's kind of like, I think one of those rock stars said, after you do heroin the first time, you're chasing that first hit. And that's the way I see women, is that once you get to have sex with one woman for the first time, you become infatuated with that person. I mean, like, there is no way to, say otherwise. I can't for 1 second think that someone, as long as it was consensual, who had a sincere attraction to the person they were with, didn't have the biggest high, And that's the way I was. I decided to wait, until marriage, and it has suited me perfectly. It does make things challenging, and in some regard, but that's with, having sex with multiple people. That's challenging too. If you're not being honest about it, you got to hold it back. It requires a lot of energy. Like you're constantly, trying to, meet expectations. And then you gotta like break up fights between them if they mingle, and it requires a lot of money to be able to do as well. So I mean, like, I think it's incredibly disadvantageous. It is not advantageous, to have multiple partners. And the last reason I'm going to say is that, it's that chasing the first hit of heroin, like, there's not as much satisfaction involved in that, and you'll be chasing that, and that's why you put so much energy into seeking out, drugs and trying to maintain that high, coming from, well, having one person to do it with is 100% more satisfying, okay? Because you will dedicate your life, your time, your energy to one woman because they satisfy you. Having multiple people does not satisfy you. You are giving yourself away. And because you are making yourself accessible to more than one woman, your value goes down because of that. Because you can't spend as much time with them. Okay? If someone is that wonderful, you want to spend as much time as you can because they are that mainstream of dopamine, or that mainstream of, heroin that satisfies you, that makes your life exciting, that makes your life fulfilled. And you can only get that by showing that to that one person. You 100%. And I don't really think people understand that. More often than not, people will say I'm crazy or prude or whatever. But like, the reality is that if you are in a healthy monogamous relationship, it's satisfying. It brings all kinds of comfort. The comfort that a polyamorous relationship cannot bring. Okay? It's simple. It's really simple, and it's easy to manage. I guess that's really all I got to say on the matter, but, just something to think about, and let me make one thing clear, all right? People who have different ideas than me, I could be friends with 100%, We gotta learn to, accept other people for the different ways that they think, and just learn to appreciate who they are and take the best parts of them and cherish those parts. That's all that matters, like especially if you disagree mentally, or theologically, I guess that's the way to put it. But let's just be okay with others having different ideas. But we should also be searching for the best ways to live out our life. And you can live out your life any way you want, whether it's different from mine. I don't care about that. But we should always be looking for a higher quality of life. And from everything that I've said, hands down, a monogamous, healthy relationship is the best. 100% the best.
Tune into the world and get out of your bubble. Because
I'm
like it
not
or
in a
not,
bubble.
yeah, you are, because I guarantee you, go into the comment section, you'll even have the women telling you what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, if they want to come up here and speak.
No, you don't invite people to my platform.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
You may be cute to other people.
I'm not trying to represent every woman on
Well,
this
but the thing
earth.
is, you're talking about women should get respect. No. If you're going to say women should get respect, then you should submit to all men.
They're using these general ideas, like Kevin Samuels looks like a misogynist, and then I don't even know this lady's name. I wish Kevin Samuels would have introduced her like a good gentleman, but whatever. And she's coming off as like, I've been mistreated, and I'm talking about past experiences, not the idea of what a man should be to her. Whatever.
I don't think I should submit to all men.
Well, and then a woman should not get respect.
The men who treat you right, not a submission against what you think you deserve. You agree that you should behave, in a way that pleases your significant other, and you only do that as long as they're treating you right. It's conditional. A relationship is conditional.
Value. You're just another person. You earn.
First of all, I think all humans should be.
Well, that's a nice utopian concept.
Okay.
But the bottom line today, the reason the dating market is the way it is today, is because women have abused the free market system. You don't see your grandmother, your great grandmother's generation didn't have the problems modern women had. You're the most educated, the freest, the most liberated group of.
We're also the most wealthy we've ever been, and with that, it's gotten to our heads. Greed and conceited behavior is now the majority.
Women that ever lived, and you're the most unhappy at all. Why? Because one.
I think it's social media, personally. Constantly being shown everything you don't have. From the example of the 1%, because that's what most of the great and beautiful things are. They are people who have large amounts of money and are told you need to consume, and if you can't consume, your life isn't nearly as valuable. And that's where society is wrong. 100% wrong. You are enough. Where you are at is enough. And you can plateau, and you can cruise just like that the rest of your life. And you will find contentment as long as you're in a healthy relationship.
Nuclear rejections. So entitled. In college today, the average man sitting in college with a woman knows that woman wants a man making 6 figures. They can't even date because today.
People in college, no. If a woman is in college, she knows that she has her education to rely on her survival and her comfort. Okay, like hands down. All right, like in the next 10 years, we're going to see a big flip. Women are going to start making more than they've ever made. Like hands down. And they're not going to rely on men. They're not going to simp for men like most of the high value men. High value. I think that they're really imposters. Really, they just have money, and that's in some ways that's what some of the most ditziest women think is the most important thing. That they're half decent, but they have a lot of money. And that's where they're wrong. And it's the educated ones who I think this one is. She seems a little bit more, astute in the ways of communication that I feel like she, gets what is healthy and what isn't healthy.
Hey, young women don't want men who are making average money. When's the last time you dated a man making less than $50,000?
I make less than 50.
You know, I don't really ask people how much money they make.
You know, who can get. You know why you don't have to? Because they got enough.
Yeah. But that's also because, I mean, now we live in a time where you kind of need to have more to live a certain type of life,
Guys,
right? Like
you can't make this
50,000
shit up.
now is different than obviously what
You
50,000
can't
was
make this
back
shit up.
then.
No, what you need is two incomes.
Hmm.
See, black people have never had a lot of money, but the fact that I just asked you a question and you answered it the way you did shows that you don't know what the hell's going on. You
Hmm.
don't worry about. You don't have to ask the guy the kind of money he has because the men you typically date are older and have money.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, in
But
general,
my
like,
but my point is, men your age wouldn't have stand a chance with you because they most don't have money.
That I would think is somewhat true. I think people who put in a lot of energy into what they look like and succeed in that endeavor are going to want the highest because of this conceited behavior. They kind of overlook the sevens and eights because they want someone who's a 9 and 10, someone who is, I think, and I think this is the crux of the whole issue. I think women value money more than looks. And I feel like that is just an extension of the way society is, I think, brainwashing us and the way marketing, tries to get us to buy and purchase things and give our time to. We want it to look the best. When in reality, what it looks like is nowhere near as valuable as how they're going to treat you the rest of your known life. 50, 60 years, 70, 80 years is a long time. And if you are morally bankrupt, you are going to have a miserable life. Now, granted, you can't outweigh the other. There must be a reasonable balance in between. But, the way I want everybody to behave is to be overly morally rich. 100%. They need to be going out of their way. They need to sacrifice. They need to be submissive on both sides of the relationship. They need to show vulnerability, and they need to show a willingness to, take back what they say and change their ways. That is what a healthy relationship is, and that's what's going to make your life fulfilled in an 80-year commitment. Okay, 65 years of marriage. That is what keeps people together. And I know people who stick through it just out of sheer stubbornness, or because they don't think that they could manage, the dating world. Like they just stick in it because they're like, hey, I've been used to it, and to that I would say you can always do better. You are enough, and you can find and still be happy on your own and find what you want, regardless of where you are. It's just a matter of what are you willing to do, and do you have, a support group around you? Okay? You can do it on your own even, it requires you to put on blinders and to stick to it, but you absolutely can, 100%.
Thank you.
Right. But yeah. But I think, in general,
But my point is, men your age wouldn't have stand a chance with you because most don't have money. Thank you.
Is that what she wants? Someone closer to her age? I personally think that is a much more, realistic, and much more successful relationship, personally.
right. But to each their own. Everyone is different. I think
No,
that
each is everybody's different. We're more alike than anything else. And the bottom line is this: would you like to be married one day?
yes.
She does. So she does want that.
Are you going to be submissive and obedient to your husband? And there she goes. You can't make this shit up.
Submissive and obedient, the way he puts that is like, regardless of the way the man acts, are you going to be submissive and obedient? And whenever people say submissive, there's always a sexual connotation to it. You could be submissive in, like, hey, I understand that you know more about this particular topic. I'm going to give to your perspective. That's submissive. it's not always a sexual, and I don't know why Kevin Samuels always says it that way. Is he always referring to a sexual way? Like, because sex is based upon how you feel in the moment. And you either are working to always be sexual and, turned on by your partner, or you're not working on it. You're either focused on them in that way all the time, or you're not. I will say that men are more focused on their partner than I think a woman is on theirs. That is just my perspective. And the only reason why I feel that way is that, I believe that, what society says about men is that, we really, really enjoy sex. And I think women can enjoy sex just as much. I do feel like there are extenuating circumstances that prevent women from doing so, mostly because of their period. I feel like that throws their hormones in like a weird kind of up and down kind of behavior. And even when they're not on their period, they can their body is preparing and rejuvenating itself in a way that requires a lot of energy. So I mean, I don't know. It's just a sense of, you just got to show respect. You got to show respect and understand the situation that someone is in. Not that you should always, let one side dictate when it's time to be intimate. I don't feel like that's healthy at all. I think it's just about managing stress and managing your life in a way that, shows a sense of desire on your part. That's really all that is. We're just managing ourselves, coming from a different perspective. So, and like, if you can balance it out, you will have a beautiful, wonderful, wholesome and meaningful and exciting marriage. Okay? I want you to know, 65-year marriages, people always think aren't exciting, and they are exciting because you get to wake up with your best friend. You get to do everything together. You manage and you go through ups and downs with each other. That is meaningful. Okay? You get to, if you do so, you get to go to parties and drink, and you get to have that experience. You get to go on roller coasters. You get to go shopping. There is nothing in a relationship that you can or that you can't do outside of it. Okay? You have individuality. You don't have to hang around that person all the time. You can have friends, But I'm saying is that, you shouldn't be in a single relationship because you should. No, I'm saying it's because it is more beneficial to your overall happiness in the long run, in the satisfaction, in the grand scheme. Not just in 5 and 6 years down the line. Not in 10 years down the line, okay? Like, you have to recognize that. It is wonderful, okay? And it's easy to be sexually committed to one person if you don't have a bunch of sexual partners prior. I read something that, parabonding becomes less impactful to your brain when you have multiple sex partners. Okay? If you have multiple partners that you are intimate with, that first heroin hit becomes unattainable. Unattainable. That first hit, that first deep, deep, deep love, gone. Because you recognize that feeling with some other face, some other body. And if you have 10, 20, 30, 40 examples, you're not going to be as mentally focused because your body has that experience with all those other people. If you want a strong and really, really dependable and someone who's going to be submissive to you, find a man who hasn't slept with anybody, which is going to be hard because people like Kevin Samuels, think that you should have more than one partner and that you should go out and do what you want, But like, if you want to have no worries, of mistreating the person you love and putting them in a horrible situation, wait. Okay, sex is not complicated. Sex is incredibly nuanced and very, very different woman to woman and man to man. Okay, and it's By talking about it beforehand and being adults about the matter, it'll be the most gratifying and most satisfying experience in life. There is nothing comparable to it. Absolutely nothing. And when you put that connection that you're with another person at the other end, it's like ecstasy. It's 100%. And you stick with it. You come back to it every single time. No matter who tempts you, no matter what you see walking down the street, no matter who you talk to at your work. You can't be distracted because you've invested all that you have, all of your emotion, all your dopamine, all your oxytocin in one person. And that's beneficial long term. Sex fades, by the way. It fades. It's nice, but you don't do it nearly as much when you're older. All that. So that's my 2 cents on the matter.
People, you can't make it up. What you just saw was the
I would have left too, by the way. He was saying all of these terms that are so insensitive to situational expression, and that's what she was doing. She was just like, I really don't want to hear what he's got to say because he's going to go back into this loop of, submission and, being obedient and things like that. It's like, man, you got to be submissive and obedient too, bitch. Okay? 100%. You got to be submissive and obedient too. Okay? I didn't say you got to give up, respect. I didn't say that you got to give up respect for yourself and allow anybody to mistreat you and, let somebody, show to you that you're not as valuable to them. Because as soon as somebody doesn't show you that value, don't spend your time anymore with them. If they put you below and they do things that will hurt you emotionally, like intimacy with like another person, even sexting, like giving that away over a device, and having feelings and those sexual desires for another woman, it hurts your loyalty to her. Men should be loyal, 100%. Men should be loyal. And they should lead in loyalty. Okay? Women too, but I just think men are more stubborn. We're just more set in our ways. But we have to have something that we have of value. We need something of value to pull us out of our asses and get us to be the people that we should be. Let's see what Kevin Samuels has to say.
Growth of this modern, womanist, feminist ideal. You want everything. You don't know what the world costs. That is why most women cannot respect men. They do not understand what it costs to build the world that they inhabit, like butter won't melt in their mouth. Modern men have made the world too easy for modern women to where you don't have any appreciation for the infrastructure and things that are around. So you think, well, I shouldn't have to be nice to every man. Then fine. Gentlemen, act accordingly.
Final thought. There's a miscommunication that always happens that I think in Kevin Samuels' videos where they don't understand what he's talking about and he's always talking down to the woman. He's always talking down. And that just doesn't sit right with me personally. You should never talk down to people. You can talk about the issues that you might see when people come to you, and that's what she did. She came to him, but Kevin Samuels wasn't saying anything of value. The only thing he probably said of value was what's different about modern women who aren't like your mother or grandmother or your great grandmother. I would say mother, no, grandmother and great grandmother. That would put him back in the 50s and 60s, right? Where people could sleep outside in New York City, anywhere. It's also during Jim Crow. Weird. But yeah, that's all I got to say on the matter. Definitely don't put up with people's bullshit. People who are, abusive physically or mentally. They're, people who play with your mind, people who gaslight you, tell you things are what they seem to me, but they really aren't. Definitely check yourself on that. There's no reason to put up with that. And you know, but you should always give people chances, and you know, the willingness to change, and they need to show that, you know, at least some measure of growth when the next experience comes. But you know, that's all I gotta say on the matter. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you all in the next video. Later, y'all.
Treat them